The power of heroes and learning how much they earned and how they rose from the minor leagues. When I was 9 or 10, when I stepped onto the baseball field to play, whether I was playing first base or catcher, I wasn't me. I was pretending to be a famous baseball player. This is a powerful way to learn, but as we become adults, we often lose it. We lose our heroes. Today, I see little kids playing basketball near my house. On the court, they're not little Johnny. They're pretending to be their favorite basketball heroes. Imitating heroes is a really powerful way to learn. As I've grown up, I have new heroes. Today, I have golf heroes, and I try to imitate their shots. I try to read everything about them. I also have heroes like Donald Trump, Warren Buffett, Peter Lynch, George Soros, and Jim Rogers. I know their statistics just as I knew my baseball heroes' ERA, or earned run average, and RBI as a kid. I keep an eye on what Warren Buffett invests in and try to read everything about his view of the market and how he selects stocks. I also read about Donald Trump and try to understand how he bargains and closes deals. Just as I wasn't really myself when batting on the baseball field, when I'm in the market or negotiating, I subconsciously imitate Trump's boldness. Or when analyzing a trend, I see it through Warren Buffett's eyes. By having heroes, we tap into a huge source of our hidden potential. But heroes do more than just inspire us. Heroes make things look easy. Because things look easy, we want to be like them too. If they can do it, so can I. When it comes to investing, many people present it as difficult. Instead, find heroes who make it easy. The power of giving. Teach and you shall receive. The power of giving. Both of my fathers were teachers. My rich dad gave me one lesson that has stayed with me my whole life: the need to be benevolent, or to give. My educated dad gave a lot of his time and knowledge, but never donated money. He usually said that when he had some extra money, he would donate, but he clearly had very little extra money. My rich dad donated both education and money. He strongly believed in tithing. He always said, if you want something, you have to give it first. Even when he was short on money, he still donated to his church or his favorite charity. If I can leave you with just one idea, this would be it. Whenever you feel a lack or need for something, give what you want first, and it will then return to you in great abundance. This is true for anything: money, laughter, love, or friendship. I know people often want to do this last, but I want to say that I have always benefited from it. I believe the principle of giving and receiving is true. So I give what I want to receive. I want money, so I give money, and it returns in great abundance. I want sales, so I help someone make a sale, and my sales increase. I want connections, so I help someone make connections. Like magic, my connections also increase. I heard this proverb many years ago: God does not need to receive, but humans need to give. My rich dad often said, the poor are greedier than the rich. He made it clear that if a person is rich, it means they were giving others something they wanted. Whenever I have found myself in need of money or help in my life, I have asked my mind what I want and then decided to give it first. And whenever I have given, it has always returned to me. This reminds me of a story. A man was sitting with firewood in his hand on a winter night. He was looking at the fire and shouting, "When you give me some warmth, I will give you wood." Whether it's about money, love, happiness, sales, or connections, people only need to remember that to get what they want, they have to give first. What do I want, and how can I give it to someone else? Often, just this thought begins a shower of blessings. Whenever I feel that people are not smiling at me, I start smiling and say hello. Like magic, suddenly a lot of smiling people gather around me. It's true that your world is your mirror. So I say, teach, and you shall receive. I have found that the more I teach those who are willing to learn, the more I learn. If you want to learn about wealth, teach it to someone else. This will flood your brain with new ideas and formulas. There have been times when I have given but received nothing back, or what I received was not what I wanted. In such situations, after deep observation and self-analysis, I found that I was giving in order to receive in that instance, not for the sake of giving. My father taught teachers, so he became an excellent teacher. My rich dad always taught young people how to do business. Looking back, I can see that he became more intelligent by generously sharing his knowledge. There are forces in this world much smarter than us. You can get there on your own efforts, but with the help of those forces, the work becomes much easier. For this, you just have to be generous, and those forces will also be generous toward you. Awakening Your Financial Genius. Study Session, Chapter 8, Lesson 8. Starting. It's easy to find great deals. It's like riding a bicycle. After a little wobbling, it becomes easy. But when it comes to money, it requires determination to get past that wobbling stage. You need to awaken the sleeping financial genius within you to find these great deals. Our culture has taught us that the love of money is the root of all evil. We just have to find a profession and work hard, and when we get old, the government will take care of us. The message is still to work hard, earn and spend money, and when we are short on cash, we can always borrow money. And this is why the financial genius within many of us is asleep. But we need to awaken that financial genius to find the million-dollar deals of our lives. Finding a job and working for money is much easier, but it's not the path to wealth. If you want to go against the mainstream, Robert explains the thought process he goes through every day. 10 steps to awaken your financial genius. Follow the lives of those you want to be like, or create your own. Your financial genius is worthy of this work. 1. Find a reason bigger than reality, the power of the spirit. Many people want to be rich or financially independent, but they back off because the path to get there seems too difficult. Like a prospective Olympic swimmer who sacrifices time and social events for hours of hard work in the pool and rigorous study, one needs a strong, clear goal or reason to overcome obstacles. The reason or purpose is a mix of I want and I don't want. Like Robert's reason for being rich. First, his I don't wants, because they create the I wants. He doesn't want to work his whole life. He doesn't want job security like his parents and a house in the suburbs. He doesn't want to be an employee and be busy working in his career, trading time with loved ones, just so the government can take the fruit of his labor after he dies, as happened with his father. What does he want? Robert wants to be free to travel the world at a young age and live a life he loves. He wants to be independent and have control over his time. He wants his money to work for him. Like Robert's reason for being rich, you should also have a strong emotional reason because they will keep you on this path through setbacks or successes. Robert lost money many times, but he continued his journey because his reason was strong enough. He wanted to be independent by age 40, but he was able to reach his goal by age 47. Getting rich wasn't easy, but it wasn't hard either. If Robert didn't have a strong enough reason, it would have been incredibly difficult. If you don't have a strong enough reason, Robert urges you not to listen any further because it will seem like too much work. 2. Make daily choices. The power of choice. Every day you have the choice to be rich, poor, or middle class. Your spending habits tell you who you are. The spending habits of the poor are like those of the poor. A long time ago, Robert chose to be rich. His friend Mike, after inheriting a healthy asset column, chose to learn how to maintain it. While rich families pass on their wealth to the next generation, most people choose not to be rich. They tell themselves that they have no interest in money, or that they're still young and don't need to worry about it, or they make countless other excuses. But these excuses rob them of their most valuable asset, their time, and deprive them of learning. Every day we all have the choice of what to do with our time and money and what to put into our brains. Robert chooses to be rich, and he makes that choice every day. He urges people to invest in education first, because our brain is our most powerful tool. Once we're old enough, we all have the choice of what we will pour into our brains. But instead of choosing to invest in learning, most people just keep buying investments. To continue his learning process, he goes to at least 2 seminars every year. In 1973, he went to a 3-day seminar where he was taught how to buy real estate with no down payment. He spent $385 on the seminar, and thanks to this seminar, he has earned at least $2 million and has also been able to not work for the rest of his life. He also loves CDs and audio boxes so he can review them after listening. Once, he didn't agree with what an investor was saying, but after listening to his CD 20 times, he finally came to understand why that person had said what they said. He understood this because he kept his mind open even though he originally disagreed with that investor. Now he has 2 ways to analyze a problem, which is invaluable. Robert has chosen to read and listen to others to understand what many people think, from Donald Trump to George Soros. This way he can benefit from their mental power. When you learn something new, you often have to make mistakes to fully understand it. Arrogant or critical people are afraid to take risks, so they often don't listen to experts. It's not a question of intelligence. An intelligent person can also be ignorant if there's a point of arrogance mixed with their cleverness. On the other hand, a truly intelligent person welcomes new ideas. A new idea combined with pre-existing ideas can turn into something wonderful. Listen, learn, and have a long-term view of wealth. Don't have a get-rich-quick mentality. Before investing in stocks or real estate, invest in your biggest asset, your brain.
3. Choose friends carefully. The power of association. Robert learns from all his friends, from those who have money and he seeks their knowledge, and also from those who struggle financially. The latter group teaches him what not to do. He says that many of his friends who have earned over $1 billion have said the same thing. Their poor friends never ask them how they did it. They just want a job or a loan or both. Robert warns us not to listen to poor or fearful people. When it comes to investing, for them, the sky is always falling. They can always tell you that in any group of experts, there is always one who says the market will fall and another who says the market will rise. Listen to both because both have valid arguments. Be honest with yourself and don't follow the crowd. This can be one of the most difficult parts of wealth creation. The crowd usually arrives too late for a great deal. Instead, look for a new deal that may seem scary. Don't try to time the market. Get into the right position for the next wave. An intelligent investor buys an investment when it is not popular. They know that profit is determined not at the time of selling, but at the time of buying. It's all about insider trading, its legal forms. Being an insider, having rich friends who have information about where money is being made. You want to hear about the next rise? Get in and get out before the market crashes. That's what friends are for. And that's financial intelligence. 4. Master one formula, then learn a new one. The power of fast learning. Be careful what you learn, because you become what you put in your brain. The average person has a basic formula. Go to work, earn money, pay bills, fill the checkbook, buy some mutual funds, and then go back to work. If you don't earn enough, you have to change the formula. Many years ago, Robert went to a weekend class where he was taught how to buy real estate foreclosures. He learned a formula and worked with it. In this process, he earned several $1 million, and then he went in search of new formulas. He didn't always use new information directly, but he always kept learning. Many colleges have classes on financial planning and buying traditional investments. 5. Pay yourself first. The power of self-discipline. This can be the most difficult if it is not part of your structure, but personal self-discipline is the biggest factor that separates rich, poor, and middle-class people.
The world fools and pressures you from all sides, and if you don't have the endurance to withstand financial pressure, you can never get rich. Robert teaches his students in his entrepreneur class that the three most important managerial qualities for starting a business are cash flow management, people management, and personal time management. This applies not only to entrepreneurs, but to everyone, and each of these qualities grows with the skill of self-discipline. Although many people repeat the saying, "Pay yourself first," very few have the discipline to follow it. Compare these two diagrams, the people who pay themselves first and the people who pay everyone else first. Follow the flow of wealth and see how this person pays themselves before paying the bills. Investing in the asset column does not mean you don't pay your bills responsibly. It just means you pay yourself first. You can see that by paying everyone else first, there is very little or no money left to invest in the asset column. It has happened to Robert and many others that sometimes the cash flow was not enough to pay himself and the bills at the same time. Still, he paid himself first. This requires internal fortitude when bill collectors are shouting, but it prioritizes investing in assets and leads to getting rich. To successfully pay yourself first, keep these things in mind. First, never get into heavy debt that you have to pay. Keep your expenses low, build your assets first, and only then buy a big house or a nice car. Secondly, when you are short on money, let the pressure increase, but do not touch your savings or investments. Use the pressure to motivate your financial genius so that it can think of new ways to earn more money and pay your bills. This will increase both your ability to earn money and your financial intelligence. Remember that this rule does not encourage self-sacrifice or financial over-restraint. It doesn't mean pay yourself first and then go hungry. Life is for enjoyment. If you call upon your financial genius, you can have everything in life. You can be rich, and you can also pay your bills.
6. Pay your brokers well. The power of good advice. Many people try to save a few dollars by using a discount broker or selling their house themselves, but good professionals not only save you time, but also earn you money for you. Information is invaluable. A good broker will give you information, but at the same time, they will also earn money for you. Learn from them. The truth is, you can earn much more money from the information they provide than the money you pay them. Not all brokers are the same. Talk to them and find out how many assets or investments they have. Find a broker who has your best interest at heart and treat them fairly. Companies have a board of directors for this reason, because they know how valuable it is to have people around who are smarter than them. You should also have a board of directors. 7. Be an Indian giver. The power of getting something for nothing. The term Indian giver was created from a cultural misunderstanding when the first Europeans went to live in America. If a white person felt cold, the Indians would give him a blanket. The white immigrant considered it a gift, and when the Indian asked for the blanket back, he often felt bad. The Indian also felt bad when he learned that the white immigrant did not want to return the blanket. The deal was misunderstood. In terms of investment and the asset column, being an Indian giver is the key. That is, get your initial investment back and get it back quickly. An example is the condo that Robert bought for a cash payment of $50,000. It was rented for $2,500 per month in the good season and $1,000 per month for the rest of the year. Within 3 years, it had paid back his money. In fact, Robert's original $50,000 had returned to his pocket, and this property continued to earn money for him every month. Some people don't like risk and prefer to keep their money in a savings account, but there it earns nothing, and they get nothing for free with it. Robert says that every one of his investments should have a good side. Something should be free, like mini storage, a free piece of land, shares of stock, a house, and the risk should be limited. 8. Use assets to buy luxuries. The power of focus. Like other people, Robert loves luxuries, but he doesn't take on debt for them. Instead, he focuses on his asset column, so he doesn't have to earn money to buy those luxuries.
He gives an example of a friend whose teenage son wants to buy a car. Instead of buying the car from his own or his son's savings, the father gives him $3,000 and some information about the stock market. Then he tells him that he cannot use that $3,000 directly to buy the car. He has to invest it, and when he earns $6,000, he can buy the car, and the original $3,000 will go into his college fund. Although the boy has not yet earned that much profit, his interest and knowledge have skyrocketed. He is getting an education that will be very useful in his life. Raising assets to pay for the things one wants, creating cash flow from the asset column, is simple in principle. The difficult part is the mental fortitude to use money correctly. Borrowing money is easy in the short term, but difficult in the long term. Conclusion of the 10 points. 9. Choose heroes. The power of myth. A very powerful way we learn as children is by imitating our heroes. Robert continues to do this as an adult, although his heroes have changed. Instead of pretending to be Willie Mays at bat, he imitates Trump's boldness when negotiating, or Warren Buffett's analytical skills when observing trends. By creating heroes, we tap into their talent, and because they make it look easy, they inspire us to try.
10. Teach and you shall receive. The power of giving. Robert learned from his rich dad to give both money and education. He says if you want something, you have to give it first. Even when he was short on money, he donated to his church or his favorite charity. Whenever you feel a need for something, be it money, laughter, love, or friendship, give it first, and it will return to you in great abundance. This is also true for teaching and learning. The more you teach, the more you learn. Both of Robert's fathers proved this. Be generous with what you have and make sure you are giving for the joy of giving, not to receive. Left hemisphere plot. Use self-discipline to protect the priority of growing your asset column by paying yourself first. Right hemisphere plot. Keep your mind open to new ideas and new ways of doing things. These can increase the synergy of other stored ideas. Subconscious plot. Tap into the deep emotional reasons why you want to be rich. Strengthen them. They will help you overcome the obstacles on the path to wealth. What was Robert saying? Now it's time to think. Ask yourself, what is Robert saying in this example, and why is he saying it? In this section, you don't need to agree or disagree with what Robert says. The goal is to understand what Robert is saying. Remember, this curriculum is designed to be collaborative and supportive. 2 brains are better than 1. If you don't understand what Robert is saying, don't hesitate to ask for help to understand. Take time to discuss each example until you understand it. There is gold everywhere, but most people aren't trained to see it. Nothing in life is difficult without a strong reason or purpose. Financially, with every dollar that comes into our hands, we have the power to choose our future, to be rich, poor, or middle class. 90% of people buy TVs, and only 10% buy business books. We all have people in our lives who are highly educated or who believe they are smart, but their balance sheets show a different picture. I've noticed that my wealthy friends talk about money. They don't do it to boast, they are interested in it, so I learn from them and they learn from me. If you are tired of what you are doing or you aren't earning enough money, then it's just a matter of changing the formula through which you earn money. Those who lack inner fortitude often become victims of self-disciplined people. I have lost money many times, but I only play with money that I can afford to lose. The easy path often becomes difficult, and the difficult path often becomes easy. Additional questions. Now that you understand what Robert said in this chapter and the stories he told, it's time to apply them to yourself and your life. Ask yourself the questions below and discuss them with your study partner. Be honest with yourself and your partner. If you don't like some of your answers, ask yourself if you are ready to change. Take on the challenge of changing your thinking and your mindset.
What are the reasons why you want to be rich? Your desires and what you don't want. When was the last time you went to a seminar or read a business book? Would you say your self-discipline muscle is in good shape, or does it need a good workout? Do you have a board of directors in your life, brokers and other professionals who pay good fees for excellent information and the ability to make money for you? Do you understand the concept mentioned in Step 7? If not, discuss it with your study partner. When you last bought a luxury item, how did you pay for it? Who is your financial hero? How do you follow this person in your work? Definition of terms. ROI, Return on Investment. Chapter 9. Do this if you want more. Many people are not satisfied with my 10 steps. In their eyes, there's too much philosophy and not enough action. I think that understanding philosophy is just as important as taking action. However, there are some people who want to act rather than think, and some who think but don't do anything. I would say I'm a combination of both types of people. I love new ideas, and I also love to take action. So for those who want a to-do list to get started, I will briefly mention some of the things that I do. Stop doing what you are doing. In other words, take a break and evaluate what's working and what's not. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Stop doing what isn't working or isn't successful and look for something new. Look for new ideas. For new investment ideas, I go to bookstores and look for books on various and unique subjects. I call them formulas. I buy how-to books on formulas I know nothing about. For example, at a bookstore, I found Joel Moskowitz's book, The 16% Solution. I bought the book, read it, and the next Thursday I did exactly what the book said. Most people don't take action or apply new formulas after listening to someone else. My neighbor told me why the 16% formula wouldn't work. I didn't listen to him because he had never done this work. Find someone who has done the work you want to do. Take them out to lunch and ask for advice and business strategies. For a 16% tax lien certificate, I went to the county's tax office. There I found a government employee who worked there. I found out that he also invests in tax liens. I immediately invited him to lunch. He was excited and told me all his knowledge and the entire process. After lunch, he showed me places where I could get these types of deals until the evening. With his help, by the next day, I found 2 excellent properties that have since been paying 16% interest. It took 1 day to read, 1 day to act, and 1 day to get 2 great deals. Go to classes, read, and attend seminars. I look for new and interesting classes in newspapers and on the internet, many of which are free or cheap, which I want to learn. I also go to expensive seminars on that subject and pay their fees. It's because of the courses I've taken that I've become rich and free from the need for a job. Some of my friends never went to such classes and instead discouraged me, saying I was wasting my money. They are still working at the same old jobs today. When I want to buy real estate, I look at many properties and usually write an offer. If you don't know what a proper offer should be, where do I know? It's the real estate agent's job. They make offers. I do as little work as possible. A friend of mine wanted me to teach him how to buy an apartment house. One Saturday, he went with his agent and me to see 6 apartment houses. 4 were bad, but 2 were good. I wrote an offer for all 6, offering half the price the owners were asking. My friend and his agent almost had a heart attack. They thought it was insulting and would make the seller feel bad. But I think the agent didn't want to work that hard, so he didn't do anything and they went looking for a better deal. They haven't made a single offer to a landlord to this day, haven't sent a single proposal. That woman is still looking for the right property at the right price. Look, until you have the other party in front of you to make a deal, you won't know what the right price is. Most sellers ask for a very high price. It's rare for a seller to ask for a price less than the true value. So the moral of the story is, make an offer. Those who are not investors don't know how difficult it is to sell something. I had a plot of real estate that I had been trying to sell for months. I would welcome any kind of offer. Even if someone offered me $10, I would be happy. Not for the offer, but because someone showed interest. I might have increased the price, maybe asked for the full dollar price. This is how this game is played. The game of buying and selling is fun. Always remember this. It's fun, and it's just a game. Make an offer. Someone will say yes. When making an offer, I always add a condition of protection. In real estate, I make an offer with a language that includes a condition.
For example, approval from a business partner. Never reveal who your business partner is. Most people don't know that my partner is my cat. If they accept the offer and I don't want to make the deal, I call home and talk to my cat. Through this foolish statement, I want to show how easy and simple this game is. Most people make things much more difficult and take it more seriously than necessary. Finding the right deal, the right business, the right person, the right investor, or whatever it may be, is like dating. You can go to the market and talk to many people, make many offers, answer offers, negotiate, reject, or accept. I know many single people who sit at home and wait for the phone to ring, but it's better for them to go to the market, even if it's just a supermarket. Searching, making offers, rejecting, negotiating, and accepting are part of the process of almost everything in life. Once a month, jog, walk, or drive in a specific area for 10 minutes. This is how I found some of my best real estate investments. I jog in a specific area for a year and then look for changes. To profit from a deal, two components are necessary. One is a good deal, and the other is change. There are many good deals, but change turns a good deal into a profitable opportunity. So I jog in the area where I want to invest. By going there repeatedly, even small changes catch my eye. I recognize real estate signs that have been up for a long time. This means the seller will be more anxious to make a deal. I look at trucks coming and going. I stop and talk to the drivers. I talk to mail carriers. They have so much information about an area that it's surprising. I look for a bad area, especially an area where everyone has moved away due to some news. Sometimes I even wait for a year for signs of improvement. I talk to retailers, especially new shopkeepers, and find out why they came there. This takes only a few minutes a month, and I do it while I'm doing something else, like exercising or going to the store. Shop for deals in all markets. The consumer will always be poor. When there's a sale at the supermarket, say on toilet paper, the consumer runs and stocks up. But when there's a sale in the housing market or the stock market, often called a crash or correction, that consumer often runs away. When the supermarket raises its prices, the consumer goes shopping somewhere else. But when the housing market or the stock market raises its prices, that consumer often runs in and starts buying. Always remember, profit is not made when selling, but when buying. Look for a good deal in the right place. A neighbor bought a condominium for $100,000. I bought a similar condominium next to his for $50,000. He told me he was waiting for the price to go up. I replied that profit is made when buying, not when selling. He bought it through a real estate broker who didn't own any property himself. I bought it at a bank foreclosure auction. I learned how to do this by paying a $500 fee for a class. My neighbor thought a $500 fee for a real estate investment class was too much. He said he couldn't afford the money or the time, so he was waiting for the price to go up. First, find people who want to buy, then find a person who wants to sell. A friend was looking for a specific type of plot. He had the money but not the time. I found a plot larger than my friend's requirement. Then, after making the deal, I called my friend. My friend said he wanted a part of that plot, so I sold him the part he wanted and bought the land. I kept the remaining land for free. The moral of the story? Buy the cake and divide it into pieces. Most people look for things according to their ability, so their attention is on very small pieces. They only buy one piece of the cake, so in the end they pay a higher price for less. People who think small don't get big opportunities. If you want to be richer, think big. Think big. Retailers like to give discounts to wholesale buyers, simply because most business people prefer people who spend more. Even if your ability is low, you can negotiate for a better deal with others because you want a large quantity of a specific item. Small people always remain small because their thinking is small. They work alone or don't work at all. Learn from history. All the big companies in the stock market started as small companies. Colonel Sanders didn't become rich until he lost everything at the age of 60. On the other hand, Bill Gates was on the list of the world's richest people before he was 30. Action always beats inaction. These are some of the things I've done and still do to recognize opportunities. The important words are have done and do. As has been repeated many times in this book, you have to work before you can get the reward of a property. Start working now.
Make a lot of offers. You don't know what the right price is until you have the other party in front of you who wants to make a deal. Most sellers want a lot of money. It's rare for a seller to ask for a price that is less than the value of the item. It's fun and just a game. Keep making offers. Someone might say yes and make an offer with a protective clause. Once a month, jog, walk, or drive for up to 10 minutes in a specific area. Robert has found some of his best real estate investments this way. He would jog in a specific area for a year and look for changes. For him, a deal needs two components to be profitable: a good deal and change. There are many good deals, but it's change that turns a good deal into a profitable opportunity. This takes only a few minutes each month, and he does it while doing another task, like exercising or going to the store. Shop for deals in all markets. The consumer will always be poor. When there's a sale at the supermarket, like on toilet paper, the consumer runs and buys it. But when there's a sale in the housing or stock market, often called a crash or correction, that consumer often runs away from it. Remember, profit is made when buying, not when selling. Look for the deal in the right place. A neighbor bought a condominium for $100,000. Robert bought a similar condominium next to his for $50,000. He told Robert that he was waiting for the price to go up. Robert replied that profit is made when buying, not when selling. He bought it through a real estate broker who didn't own any property himself. Robert bought it at a bank foreclosure auction and learned how to do it by paying a $500 fee for a class. His neighbor thought that the $500 for the real estate auction class was too much. He said he couldn't afford the money or the time, so he was waiting for the price to go up. First, find people who want to buy. Then find a person who wants to sell. Buy the whole cake and divide it into pieces. Most people look for things according to their ability, so their attention is on very small pieces. They only buy one piece of the cake, so in the end, they pay a higher price for less. People who think small don't get big opportunities. If you want to be richer, think big. Think big. Retailers like to give discounts to wholesale buyers, simply because most business people prefer people who spend more. Even if your ability is low, you can negotiate for a better deal with others because you want a large quantity of a specific item. Small people always remain small because their thinking is small. They work alone or don't work at all. Learn from history. All the big companies in the stock market started as small companies. Colonel Sanders didn't become rich until he lost everything at the age of 60. On the other hand, Bill Gates was on the list of the world's richest people before he was 30. Action always beats inaction. You have to work to get the financial reward. Work now. Now, with the understanding of what Robert said in this chapter and the stories he told, it's time to apply them to yourself and your life. Ask yourself the questions below and discuss them with your study partner. Be honest with yourself and your partner. If you don't like some of your answers, ask yourself if you're ready to change. Accept the challenge of changing your